our chickens. It ended up killing himself, I think, in the fence or something happened behind this bush here. So we're gonna end up butchering her. But it's kind of sad because this is one of our egg chickens. So this video will be about butchering. Okay, I've got all changed now into my butchering clothes. Right now we've got our water heating up. You don't want it to get too hot because it'll start cooking your chicken. You want just the right temperature where it can just, it's easy for you to take your feathers out of your chicken. If it's too hot, it'll just start cooking your chicken. So we'll get started. Alright, what you want to first do is take your chicken, make sure you submerge the chicken all the way down to just, you got to be careful though, make sure not to get your hands, but just enough so where you could touch the feet, and make sure all the water soaks for about 10 to 15 seconds. And make sure it starts being able to pluck. Alright, so you just want to do a pull test and just make sure the feathers come out easy, so they have come out easy. So you'll be able to just pluck her. So I'll get back to you when I'm all done. Okay, since she's an older chicken, normally we would just pluck them and keep the skin, but if you can see here closely, she's an older chicken, so she's got all these hairs. So it's just a pain in the butt to try and pull them all out, so we're just gonna skin her and we'll actually eventually decapitate her and let her bleed out. I'm excited about this because this was a Christmas gift I got, a nice butchering kit. So I'll be able to use it today. Since you can see it's brand new, I haven't used it yet. But it comes with all kinds of different knives, different things and stuff like that, so I'll be using this today. You good? Before I forget, if anybody wanted to know what butchering set I used, it's going to be the game processor Outdoor Edge, and this is the one I got for Christmas. Person who got it for me got it from Amazon. I'm not sure how it works yet though, so I'll let you know once we're done butchering. Okay, so we've already got the head off. We actually used these shears here, which made it a lot easier than normal. So right now we're just going to cut off the feet and start skinning the chicken. Figure out which knife. Huh? Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. I forgot I had these guys. I don't know if they'll be harder or not. Yeah, I might be able to. You're supposed to slit the skin first out. That's what I normally do. Yeah, I just always cut the skin first because it'll make it easier. Then now I know where the notch is at. Sorry, I don't want to throw a foot on you. Alright. Oh, she's got a lot of fat on her. So I'm just pretty much using this to just kind of skin her real quick. These knives are pretty sharp, so it works pretty well so far. You can notice there's a lot of fat on there. So I personally don't like all the fat, so I'm just going to make sure to get all that off. Oh, she's got a lot. I know. So sad, our pet chicken. I was pretty upset when it happened. But I didn't want her to go to waste. This is a meal right here for the both of us, so. Do you have a bag that we can throw the skin in and stuff? Okay. Younger chicken is much different. It's much more easier and you don't have all that hair. At least our chickens we had didn't have all the fat on them either. The last meat chickens we did was Cornish cross chickens, which are bred for meat. They're hybrids, so they grow really fast in a really short amount of time. So we were able to butcher them in only, I think it was like 3 months?
Yeah.
It was 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 months. So just be very careful because you don't want to puncture the chicken and hit any of the organs, especially the intestines. Sorry, we weren't prepared. Usually we have a bag here to help with all this stuff, but this was unexpected butchering day. Be careful too, because you have the crop. You can see this puppy thing. Usually if you're going to butcher a chicken, Don't let them eat for 24 hours so that that sac isn't all filled with food and fluid and all that. So. Hold on, I have it right on there.
Yeah.
The feet? For Jay if he wants them. One of his friends actually eats chicken feet, so I don't know if he would want them or not, but I haven't had them, so I'm not knocking it until I try it, but it just sounds weird. I don't think there's really that much meat on there, so. I know, it is really, really fatty. Yeah, you're not touching it again. Just kidding. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at all that fat. From an older chicken, I'm not sure you can see, but really all that yellow stuff is pretty fatty chicken. I like these knives so far.
Good.
Yeah, usually with the younger chicken, you don't even have to use a knife. It literally just, the skin can peel right off. Because we've done it like that before. We didn't want the skin. Yeah, it's a really good knife, isn't it? Compared to the ones we used last time. Last time we didn't have this butchering set, so it was very difficult for us to cut one open, and the knives were very, very dull. Thank you. This has to be Amelia.
Yeah.
We have, this is actually a barred rock chicken, and we had one originally when we first started with egg chickens. So we have 3 newer barred rocks. So they're pretty young. I don't think these are the young ones. Unfortunately, I think this was our older chicken. So I'll wait to cut that off when I open up the inside. Yeah, it's a lot of fat. So. I'm just gonna get this back here. You may have to bring the camera closer when I do the inside. The leg last. The skin last. Oh, she's got so much fat. Usually it doesn't take this long, I promise. It's just she's very, very fatty chicken. Alright, so if you can look here, I know it's pretty gross, sorry you guys, but that's the sack I was talking about. It's really hard and grainy. You can feel that she's got a lot of chicken feed and all kinds of stuff in there. But if you could look here, this little one that was clipped when we decapitated her, that's going to be the trachea. So what we're going to do is separate it from the neck very, very carefully. Some people save the neck to do stock, but I usually don't use it, but you can if you would like to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to grab it out as far as I can once I kind of cut around the edges. Just be careful when you do this, because you don't want to puncture. You can kind of see where the veins are at. You don't want to hit that, or else you'll open up that sac. So you want to try to get it out as far back as possible. And like I said, if you know you're going to butcher chicken, don't let them eat for 24 hours so you don't have to deal with this. It's a lot of this clear stuff. Alright, so I got out as far back as I can. And you're pretty much going to pull out the crop and the trachea and cut as far back as you can and just get that all out. That way you don't have all the food going into your chicken. Okay, so what I normally do is break the legs out a little bit. Makes it easier to work with. I already cut my slit, but you want to be very, very careful, because if you can look in there, you can see the intestines, and you don't want to break that open. So usually I start from the back, but I had cut open the front here already, so I'm going to start from there and just cut through all this fat. You can use your finger too to push up against the intestines so that you know you're not going to puncture it and ruin your meat. And look at what we have. We've got an egg. So it's not a hard shell, because she already laid one for the day. But it's a very soft shell. So you can feel it almost feels like just the yolk of the egg. But you can see we have an egg that was forming. Some people keep a lot of the insides of their chicken. We personally don't. Eventually I think I may, because I know some people make dog food, homemade dog food out of the liver and heart and what else people...
Lungs.
And the lungs,
Kidneys.
yeah. Kidneys and all that. So what you want to do too is just, you'll feel they have a gland up here, an oily gland. I personally don't like to keep it on my chicken, so I cut that area off. Just feel a little bit, but be very careful. You don't want it to go through to your organs. Come around here where you can see my organs and just kind of cut around that and get the whole rectal cavity out of the chicken. Like I said, I really promise it's a lot quicker and easier with a younger chicken to do this. And actually start pulling out some of this stuff. I don't know if you can guys see. Sorry, it's pretty slippery. I may need your help, Eric, because it's kind of hard to get for me. You can help me out just a little bit. You can cut the sides if it makes it a little bit easier for you. You just try to grab the inside for me. I cut my finger, I think.
Where? Oh.
Careful, you just ruptured something, babe.
I think it's just the heart. The kidneys.
Oh, it's the egg yolks.
Oh my.
I'm like, I see something yellow. I don't know what it is, but it's the eggs. It's okay. If you want to turn it towards the camera so people can see. I know it's really gross, but those are all the eggs that are forming that he just broke one open. So there's no outer shell on it, like I said. So, go ahead, I'll let you finish.
Thanks.
So I wanted to show you guys the different stages of the eggs. We had a bunch of smaller ones, but these are the different stages, and you can see this one actually would have been an egg that she would have laid today. It was in the canal, and you can see the shell is a lot harder than this one that we found a little while ago. So That one looks probably about maybe just a little bit smaller than what she normally would lay. So since we're going to use this chicken, just do chicken quarters. We're going to take off the thighs, the breast, and the wings to eat. Still find quite a bit of fat on there, but I'll take some more off later on. Just get off the rest of the skin here. Eric makes me laugh because he whispers like you guys can't hear him. I'll be right back. Alright, that's that. That'll be our first piece. And of course I'm going to rinse it up and clean it well and get most of the fat out before I cook it. So usually I freeze the whole chicken, but we're probably going to use this tonight to do some soup or something. So cut off some more of this fat. I'm surprised how fatty she was because we don't feed them anything really fatty, but they eat all kinds of stuff out of the yard, so. Earlier I'd cut myself, but I thought it was a new cut, and I was like, oh, I didn't feel myself cut myself with a knife, but it's like an old cut that had opened up. I don't know how, but it sucks because it's kind of burning right now, so I just had to wash it off a few minutes ago. That's the other one. You can kind of see where the joints are at. That's where you want to cut to make it easy. If not, it's going to be very difficult for you. This one's a little bit harder. I don't think I'm hitting in between the joints there. There we go. Ah, came up much easier now. So I'll just get the breast off. I usually kind of just rake it. Be very careful though. Rake it up against the ribs if you just want to take the chicken breast off. You're always still going to miss a little bit of some. That's the way the backbone is, but get as much as you can off. It's not pretty, I promise. It's not usually this messy. It's just different for me to butcher an older chicken. We got one breast. They're not that big. She's kind of small. She felt a lot heavier when we first picked her up, but she loses a lot from all the insides. You want to use the carcass. It's good for chicken broth. I did one the other day and it came out really, really good. Made a chicken and rice soup with potatoes, carrots. It was really good. We still have some in the fridge. I ate some even for breakfast. It was so good. Maybe one day I'll put up that recipe online if anyone's interested. So, that's all. I'm just going to cut off a little bit more of that fat, clean it up, and probably use this carcass for a broth. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you like our channel and subscribe.